Hi everyone, today I'm making a video on sharing on breathing, and I would like to call it in short, breath. Now breathing, or your breath, is your savior. It is how you walk in every moment, throughout your day, throughout your life. Breath is our savior. It saves us from ourselves, because if you're not breathing, you are thinking, or you're participating in feelings and emotions, experiences. Our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and experiences are based in energy, which is a polarity design. Therefore, we're always creating positives and negatives, positives and negatives. Whereas when you're breathing, when you're in breath, you're in reality. You're not creating anything that's polarity design, but you're instead dealing with reality. And that's the importance of breath. Breath focuses you on reality. So you don't spend time in your head creating more things for yourself that you have to later on deal with the consequences. Therefore, breath is extremely important so that we can focus on here. What is here? Here can be when you read an article. You're dealing with that article here. You don't go into thoughts. You don't go into feelings or emotions or any biases about anything. You're here, seeing direct, reading direct, or if you watch a video or a movie or a TV series, you are here in breath. You're not going into any experiences, any fears, any insecurities, any desires, any wants. You're in breath, dealing with what's here in reality. So I'm going to share a little bit about how to get into breath. Now, it's not a get into breath. See, this is the key. A lot of people believe they have to focus on their breathing. So they focus on their breathing. I need to focus on my breathing. But that tends to turn into a very strict, constricted breathing because we're focusing too hard on needing to breathe. And this creates more thoughts, this creates more suppressions, this creates more denials. Because if you're breathing, you're also dealing with reality, which is a thought, a feeling or emotion coming up. You're not creating them or playing them out. A thought comes up, in breath you can let it go, you can forgive it, you can direct it. If you're not breathing, a thought comes up and you're going to play that thought out. If a feeling comes up, you're going to follow that feeling or that emotion because you're not in breath. So in breath doesn't mean you're also denying your internal reality. It means you're working with what's here. Now, if you're focusing on breathing, you're creating a thinking pattern out of needing to breathe, because now you're thinking about breathing the whole time. You're focusing on breathing too much. And this creates a problem with your breathing, because now your breathing has become this difficult thing, this thing that's so far out there. And also some people like to go and meditate, go sit down and focus for 20 minutes, 30 minutes on breathing and letting everything go and so on. The problem with that method is breathing has become this whole process apart from in every single moment. So there's a whole thing, this whole ritual that you have to participate in to go and breathe, to be here. So that creates another problem because you can't have that time for that ritual every day. It's like at the end of the day, you only now release and feel good and so on. So the rest of your day you're probably feeling a bit shit. But to master breath is to do, not try. Trying is the problem. Now when you do breath, you just do it. You stop thinking. You stop feeling emotions and you stop having emotions and feelings and participating in them. Instead you're dealing with what's here. Stress, okay. Breathe, there's no stress. There's no reality in your head when you're breathing. You're just here. You're doing your dishes, you're having a piss, you're cleaning a room, you go out to your job, you do your job, you don't have resistance, you don't have any fears, you don't have any anger problems, you're just here in breath. There's no polarity, there's no fighting, there's no friction, you're just here directing. Because we have to deal with reality. The problem currently is no one is dealing with reality. Instead, we're creating more and more things to deal with within this reality because we participate in thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So we're never getting to reality. We're just getting to create more things and then grabbing at straws at dealing with things in this world. So breath is a do. So what you need to do is, when you wake up, you need to breathe. Just breathe. You don't have to try, you don't have to focus on it, just breathe. And you just let go of everything. Breathe in everything here in the physical. Use your body. See, hear. Use your physical senses, which currently is limited senses, but use them to physically ground you. So listen. You don't have to focus on listening. Listening happens by itself. See. You don't have to focus on seeing. You just see. You just be here. And let your breath be here. Don't focus on your breath as in, am I breathing right? Am I breathing right? Am I breathing wrong? Ooh, this is wrong. It's not feeling good. It's not feeling good. Okay, no. Just let your body do what it does naturally. Breathe. Be here. And you will be able to see how much you slow down, because you will suddenly, let's say something that's always irritated you, made you angry, or someone you're reacting to, or a situation you don't enjoy. If you are in breath, you can walk into those situations with nothing coming up, nothing suddenly changing you. You are here. You are directing. You're calm. You're stable. You know yourself. You know that your mind cannot give you fear, cannot give you insecurities, cannot give you hopes and dreams and fantasies, because you're here, which means everything is real to you. That is real. You're not dealing with another reality that's imposing onto this reality what you're going to experience or how you're going to experience anything. And it's just so much better. So one thing for Destonians, apply your self-forgiveness, apply your writing, and breath. Yes, you're going to fall, fail, you're going to practice, you're going to make mistakes, that's all right. But breathe. Don't think about it. Don't focus on it. Breathe. Something you have to consistently practice, yes, to do, but not try. Trying is different than doing. In doing, you can also fail. But it's not trying. Trying is something that becomes a long-term thing. You just try. So instead, do. And even if you fail in the doing, just do again, do. Until you become it. So if you know you have something that you react to, like doing dishes, walk into doing dishes without any thoughts, feelings, emotions. Walk into it with just breath. Do. And that's how we use our physical reality as reference. How do we do? If we don't do, we postpone, neglect, forget, sit back. If we take our time with everything, if this and this and that, that's a reflection of our mind, of not being here in breath, because we're living in some other reality. So yeah, breath is definitely something you need to focus on within this process consistently. It's one of your main basic baselines. If you're thinking, if you're in fear, if you are in your mind, you can drop all of that, which you believe is important, in one moment, which is one breath, proving you none of it is real. And then you can actually deal with reality, not what you're thinking about, not what you're concerned about, worried about, fearful about, insecure about, desiring, hoping, dreaming. If you have an addiction, like porn, masturbation, alcohol, drugs, you can drop that thought. It's going to put you back into your addiction, just like that. Do, breathe, and don't do it. By not doing something, you're doing something, isn't it? By not doing it. So not doing something that you know isn't best for you or anyone else is doing something. You're doing. And you can drop that whole temptation in one breath, because that's doing. Thank you.